Where would you think a 15-year-old be sent? To juvie hall or juvenile detention center. But not for Ethan Crumbley. He now stays in jail. Welcome back to our second half of Give Me a Break. Welcome back to the second half of Give Me a Break. Yep, you heard right. As you just heard today, the judge decided to keep Ethan Crumbley, accused shooter of Oxford, Michigan. The judge decided today that he should stay in jail until the next hearing. I don't know when that's gonna be. But here's what we know so far. We know what the judge is gonna say. And we know what the judge said. He pulled the trigger. And the whole reason why he was sent to jail was he was afraid of other juveniles. But remember, last week, their attorney said he had special privileges like phone privileges, iPad privileges, this and that, the other. We shouldn't be wasting our money on. We should not be wasting money on. We paid for him to go to jail. That's what we did. So, let me get that clip for you. So, let's play this clip for you guys.
Yes, Devin, right after the Oxford school shooting, Ethan Crumbley spent just a little bit of time.
In the Oxford school shooting, Ethan Crumbley is going to stay in the Oakland County Jail. A decision comes after lawyers pressed the judge to move him to a juvenile detention facility. We bring in Victor Williams, who's live tonight with more on that decision. Victor.
Yes, Devin, right after the Oxford school shooting, Ethan Crumbley spent just a little bit of time in a juvenile detention facility right before he was transferred over to the Oakland County Jail. As it turns out, he will not be returning anytime soon. Ethan Crumbley has been ordered to stay behind bars at the Oakland County Jail. Today, a judge shot down his lawyer's request to house Crumbley at the Oakland County Children's Facility as the Oxford school shooting case continues. Placement arguments from both sides went back and forth at the hearing that took place days ago. The 15-year-old is facing charges of premeditated murder and over a dozen other charges in the horrific school shooting that took place on November 30th. Claims of mental illness have been made from Crumbley's attorney.
In the time leading up to these events, that my client was hallucinating, that he was seeing things, he was hearing voices, and that he had asked his parents to see a therapist.
While the prosecution believes the teenager is a danger to society, that still belongs at the Oakland County Jail.
The defendant isn't who he appears to be. He allows people to see who he wants them to see, and only those close to him, such as his parents, would understand or recognize it. He is fascinated with violence, weapons, and seeing others suffer.
According to the Detroit Free Press, the judge's ruling stated that Children's Village was, quote, incapable of housing the defendant because of the unique circumstances in the case. Children's Village manager Heather Calcaterra echoed the same thing at the hearing.
We've never had a situation like this involving a school shooting.
And a lot went into consideration when making this decision, but this is just another example of how going forward, Crumbley is going to be viewed as an adult. Victor Williams, Local 4.
All right, Vic.
And now he's viewed as an adult. Now remember, the parents were at trial, so we never heard anything from the parents. But there is new testimony. Last week we told you about that new video of Ethan and his mother at a shooting range, spending quality time. Now remember, the parents bought him the guys an early Christmas present, but they forgot to keep it locked up. So the question is, why didn't they get him help before? My guess is because they were too busy at work. If your child was hallucinating or was dead, you wouldn't be too busy. 911 would be called. You already be sent to the hospital, and your parents would be phone calls saying your child's in the hospital, this and that and the other. Can you come? We need you to come over here, and then everybody looked at this and it's like, yeah, I guess so. So that's probably the latest. That's the latest from Oxford, but we'll give you more details as they go along. Okay, coming up. Okay, up next. Back in the first half, I talked to you about the Lee Summit superintendent, who years ago had a big raise, like over almost at $400,000. Give you more details about this case when we return. Don't go away. Now, for those of you who watched the first half of the show, I talked to you guys about the Lee Summit superintendent, who years ago got a supportive raise over $400,000. But for those who didn't hear, I didn't even play a clip for you guys. I was at the field, outside the field, so. Let's take a look at the very beginning here. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the whole thing from the beginning.
Is put on leave. Angry parents are now demanding more.
He should have been fired!
41 Action News reporter Tom Dempsey shows us why Lee Summit parents are so upset tonight, Tom.
Yeah, that's right, Mike and Rhiannon. Parents are once again unified for the Lee Summit Board of Education meeting tonight. Some of them even made signs like this one, calling for change. But the change many hoped for did not happen.
Just need some transparency, Lee Summit.
Tonight, the message from Lee Summit parents was loud and clear.
McGehee and Harmon resign.
A message to the superintendent and the Board of Education. One man even decorated his car and shirt with.
Anybody that had anything to do with him renewing his contract needs to resign.
Many parents are fed up with Superintendent David McGehee and the contract that made him the highest paid superintendent in Missouri. Parents wanted answers after the board supported the contract with no public input. Tonight, they got one.
The board voted to place Dr. David McGehee on paid administrative leave, effective immediately.
McGehee now makes 6 times the salary of teachers in Lee Summit. It's a contract parents say is wrong.
Every dollar of that $100,000 contract increase took something from the children of Lee Summit.
Frustration was also targeted at board member Terry Harmon.
Ms. Harmon, you're an inept leader and must step down, not just step aside.
Harmon stepped down as president of the board today over criticism for supporting the superintendent's contract. After facing controversy for a relationship with an attorney employed by the school district, one man said McGehee should leave.
He should have been fired!
A conflict still with an uncertain future. Parents hope it gets solved soon. Now, we well know Dr. McGehee was not available for comment tonight because he wasn't at the meeting here tonight. It's also unknown how long he will be on administrative leave. Reporting live in Lee Summit, I'm Tom Dempsey, 41 Action News.
Tom, thank you. McGehee earns $304,000 per year, and compare that to the biggest school districts in the metro, and McGehee makes more. The new superintendent over at Kansas City will earn $225,000. Blue Valley superintendent earns $230,000, and Shawnee Mission pays its superintendent $254,000.
That's at the low range, which is good. So,
Adult superintendent of the Centinela Valley School District is now being fired.
So right now there is more about this. So let's continue feeding you more information as he resigns amid the controversy. So let's give you part one of his resignation. There's two parts to this, so let's give you part one.
Superintendent.
And before we continue, if you guys were in Lee Summit, heard about this, I want you to let me know in the comments what happened, because I wasn't at Lee Summit. I haven't heard much of the story. So if you knew who the attorney was for Lee Summit School Board, for the school district, let me know in the comments. I want to ask her about this relationship. I want to hear our side of the story.
David McGehee is resigning after facing mounting backlash. Many parents were fed up due to his massive salary and a relationship with a lawyer doing work for the district. 41 Action News reporter Tom Dempsey explains how parents are now reacting and what the school board is now doing to move forward. Tom.
Well, Mike, for quite some time, parents here in Lee Summit were calling on Dr. David McGehee to step down. Some put signs like this one on their lawns across the area. Others protested outside the school district building that you can see behind me. This week, they finally got what they were looking for.
McGehee and Harmon resign.
After months of protests from Lee Summit parents, Superintendent David McGehee is stepping down, resigning at the end of June.
Relief that we can finally get started on finding the right person for the job.
McGehee came under fire after a new contract was pushed through the school board behind closed doors. It made McGehee the highest paid superintendent in all of Missouri, something that didn't sit well with many parents.
He should have been fired.
We want to have better control over how our taxpayers' money is being spent.
McGehee also faced criticism over a romantic relationship with a lawyer working for the school district. As part of a buyout agreement, McGehee will get almost $500,000 over the next year.
The school board has a lot we have to do over the next few months, even year, as we transition.
McGehee has not commented publicly on the issue, but moving forward, board member Bill Baird says the board will be more transparent.
Working together, we're collaborating. We've been through a lot over the last few months, and we're going to communicate more with the public.
Parents like Claudia Linder hope Lee Summit is now heading in the right direction.
Change is good. Change will, it's going to happen. So hopefully we'll get changes for the better.
Now, we will note that buyout package for Dr. McGehee was unanimously approved by the school board. Dr. Brent Blevins is now serving as interim superintendent. The new school year starts in 57 days here in Lee Summit, and the school board hopes to have a permanent replacement for superintendent before the start of the school year. Reporting live in Lee Summit, I'm Tom Dempsey, 41 Action News.
All right, now here's part two.
This is how we do it.
Superintendent's gone in 3 years, leaving the district to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today, Lee Summit Superintendent Dennis Carpenter resigned.
This was Dennis Carpenter. Now, after David McGehee, there was Dennis Carpenter. He had a lot of issues going on. And 2 years ago, he resigned over this controversy. So we're not going to give you more details, but we want to let you know what has been going on.
This is live outside the school district's.
So now there's part two to this. So excuse me for that error. That wasn't the right one. So this is the right one. This is from June 2016. And when we come back, we're going to give you the second part to that story. Stay tuned. So we're talking about Lee Summit's former superintendent, David McGehee, who years ago had a huge buyout, making almost $500,000. Taxpayers were angry, and then people said he should resign. And there's a lot of blame going on, and there's a lot of blame going on here, and paperwork needs to be there's a lot of paperwork here needs to be a lot of people here are very angry at this, and well, let's bring you this one while I find the other one.
And in our continuing coverage, the superintendent of Lee Summit Schools has stepped down.
Yeah, it all surrounds an expensive contract. 41 Action News reporter Belinda Post is live outside the school district's administrative building with an update. Morning, Belinda.
Good morning, and Dr. David McGehee will no longer be with the school district as of June 30th. Now, this is coming as a unanimous decision by the school board. He had been on paid leave for the past month. Now, Lee Summit parents were furious with him over his contract and his relationship with an attorney who did legal work for the district. The contract paid McGehee $304,000 per year, making him the highest paid superintendent in Missouri. To leave, McGehee will be paid $550,000 over roughly the next year. If he stayed, he would have been paid more than $1.1 million from the school district over the next 3 years. The board says that it thanks him and wishes well in the future. Now the district will have to start a search for a new school superintendent. Reporting live in Lee Summit, Belinda Post, 41 Action News Today.
So now we know why. If he would have stayed, he would have made over $500,000. He would have made more than $1.some million. So, okay, I couldn't even find the video, but I'm going to describe it to you as I remember. Okay, so it was on the board meeting, and what had happened was oh wait, here it is. No wonder I couldn't find it. Sorry about that, folks. So let's play that video. So here we go. This was April. This was months before this recognition. Take a look.
Do your job.
All new at 10 o'clock here, parents making their voices loud and clear at tonight's school board meeting in Lee Summit, some even calling the superintendent to step down. 41 Action News reporter Tom Dempsey was at tonight's meeting where things were very heated, Tom.
Yeah, that's right, Krista. Parents showed up in full force to the Lee Summit School District building that you see behind me right here. Some parents even brought signs like the ones you see me holding right here, demanding answers from the superintendent and the school board for what they are calling a public crisis.
Take a look.
Lee Summit R7 Board of Education, you have a big problem.
Superintendent David McGehee and the Lee Summit School Board are under fire.
Because right now you are doing what is typically called a bully pulpit.
Parents are fed up after the board voted to raise Superintendent David McGeehee's salary to almost $400,000, making McGeehee the highest paid superintendent in all of Missouri. Parents say the talks were all behind closed doors.
I need you to process the paperwork for a recall on this whole entire school board.
McGeehee is also facing heat for his relationship with a school district attorney. Parents believe it's a conflict of interest.
We call for the resignation of Dr. David McGeehee based on his recent actions.
McGeehee stayed noticeably quiet tonight. Parents asked why thousands of taxpayer dollars were spent looking into the relationship. Outside consultants say there was no wrongdoing, but some parents say the public is being kept in the dark.
We're concerned about the lack of transparency that has transpired between the school board and the interests of the voters.
The message from parents was clear. The money from the salary increase and the relationship investigation should be better spent.
The issues are the kids. I mean, kids should be first. I mean, what can we do to make the schools better for our kids?
Superintendent McGeehee now just needs to sign that contract for it to be official. Also, we want to note, I was able to catch up with school board member Bill Baird following the meeting. He was the one that brought up those issues you just saw. He says his biggest goal moving forward with the school board is for more transparency with the public. Reporting live in Lee's Summit, Tom Dempsey, 41 Action News.
And that's the latest history with David McGeehee. Now, something I've been wondering for a while are school threats. Let's start with what happened. Let's start with what happened 3 days ago. What happened? Let's start with what happened on Tuesday. Two days ago in Madison, Wisconsin, students evacuated two Madison schools returned to class early Monday after a bomb threat forced them to evacuate. Both schools were evacuated shortly before 11 a.m. The district heard that Learning Voice describes a detailed bomb that Madison Metropolitan School District reported in a statement. The bomb-saving dog is almost done at the crime scene, but this is from the officials responding to the scene. What they added: cautionary measure: Memorial High School Jefferson Middle School students have been evacuated. Detailed a bomb threat. So, no harm is being done. And a student was detained for following a threat at Big Sky High School. Following the threat. The letter was sent out saying, on Friday, February 25th, the school resource officer alerted the administrative corner of the city, wishes to thank you for the public schools. So he's now being detained, and we don't know when he'll be in juvie. And finally, another one 3 days ago to La Portage schools. This time from La Portage schools. Video comment Saturday afternoon, police suspended the accused of placing phone calls. That she was in custody. This was weeks ago, so I hope that probably get what they deserve. Now something about but again, we don't need to make threats here. Unacceptable behavior. When we come back, a teacher slaps a student. The very latest I got. Stay with us. I'm about to play for you a 49-second clip of a Jimtown High School teacher who slapped a student. I want to warn you, it could be explicit, so let me describe it for you because there's no audio. So, this is, I think that was the teacher. Okay, so this is the second audio. The teacher grabs him by the backpack and then grabs him, takes him by the arm. He goes down. I don't know what happened, so let me play you some news article. Let me play you one school article, and then we're gonna wrap it up here. So let's play this video for just 1 minute, then we're gonna wrap it up.
New at 11, a school in northern Indiana fires a teacher after he was caught slapping a student on school security cameras.
We want to give you a warning. The video is graphic, so we're only going to share a clip. The video shows a teacher, Mike Hozinski, confronting a student last week, and at one point he strikes the student's face, hitting his head against the wall.
Now, this happened at Jimtown High School in Elkhart County. The school tells us the confrontation centered around the sweatshirt the student was wearing in class.
The district says the teacher no longer works at the school and is banned from campus. The student was treated for injuries, and DCS is investigating along with the sheriff's office.
Several students at that high school actually participated in a walkout in support of the teacher earlier this morning before that security video was released.
And after seeing the video, a lot of kids withdrew their support for the teacher. But one student went on camera saying there was blame on both sides.
He's a particularly, troubled student. On the bus, he's always cussing out the bus driver and saying terrible things about the bus driver. So it's not, out of the normal for him to, be disrespectful or say, disrespectful things. But that still doesn't give Mr. Hozinski the right to, hurt him.
We have a link to the school district statement about this incident and the investigation. It's posted tonight on WTHR.com.
And on Give Me a Break Wednesday, which is today, we will read you that statement. Give you more about this. And look at teachers who have been suspended or fired for other things. Excuse me. Look for that tomorrow. Just today. And that's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Tuesday going to Wednesday. For the second half, see you again for Give Me a Break Wednesday. And Friday on the broadcast, live report from soccer game. This time we're talking about those food fights. Not actually about food fights, but inspiration from John Stossel. I'll explain to you tomorrow. For all of us here at YouTube, and give me a break. Good night.